Okay, all right.
We can try melting it.
No. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be doing a full review of the Yensa Super Serum Concealer. So I have been trying out this concealer all week long, and this has been a very, very fascinating concealer because if you have ever met like a self-setting concealer, like this is it. And by like if you have ever met, I mean I have never met, and now I have met a self-setting concealer. That was really good English. Okay, let me go ahead and give you guys a really quick description of this concealer. The Yensa concealer has 0.2 ounces and it goes for $34. You can buy this off of Nordstrom. A description of it is that it is a serum concealer that is supercharged with skin-loving peptides and an age-defying complex. So it helps nourish your under eye area over time and delivers full, flawless coverage that does not crease, crack, or settle. So the 4 categories that we typically utilize when we are judging our concealers is going to be packaging, coverage, lasting power, and whether or not you can use it for touch-ups. I'm obviously not wearing it right now because I wanted to apply it on camera with you guys so you could kind of see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and talk about packaging first. I really like Yensa's packaging because I just think it's very simple. I do really love the more copper tones to it. I think it's very classic, very beautiful. This is actually, I think, and I'm pretty sure we're right because we did the bite test. You know, that test where you're like, you chomp on something to see if it's plastic or glass. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll insert a, down below, I'll include a link of where we actually have tested that theory out, and it does work. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. So this is a plastic component, which I don't really love. I really wish that it was glass. I'm pretty sure it's plastic. It's like a very, very thick frosted plastic. But what's really nice about this concealer is the doe foot applicator. Now, if you are familiar with the Makeup by Mario concealer, this is a very, very similar applicator where it gets really, really thin, but it's more of a flat surface that really allows for you to like kind of paint that concealer on. What's really nice about this as well is that the doe foot applicator is not one of those where you have to like yank it completely out of the component. It doesn't get stuck or anything like that. I really like that because it means that like in the process of not having to yank, you don't accidentally have like concealer flying out and potentially getting on anything that you're wearing. So that, from a packaging perspective, super well done. Let's go ahead and apply this together and then we'll talk about color and coverage. Actually, I do want to show you guys because I have another shade of this. I bought light 2 and medium 1. This is a really, really interesting concealer. I have to show you guys this because I do think that it's going to affect the way that you choose the color online. You have to be aware that this concealer is going to actually oxidize over time. So this is what it looks like on the back of my hand. Here is light 2, and then here is medium 1. And what you're going to see is even in the couple of seconds that we're sitting here, it's actually going to shift a little bit darker, and I think you can actually already see that happening on camera. It definitely happens on the face for sure, but I want you guys to know about this because if you do check out this concealer, just make sure that you're keeping that in the back of your head. Like, okay, maybe I actually want to get, you know, when I'm looking at it online and then I put it on my face for the first time, you might sit there and be like, oh, shnikes, this is like way too light. Just give it that opportunity to oxidize because it definitely is going to do that. And I'm pretty sure you guys can see that in the camera. I can see it in real life, so hopefully that's translating. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it to my face now. So we are going to take the shade medium 1 and we're gonna take this underneath the eyes. Now the most amazing thing about this concealer is that a little bit goes a long way because it is such a full coverage concealer. This is not one that you need to like pack on underneath your eyes. This is one where I would definitely say less is more. So I'm gonna take this underneath my eyes here. And you can just tell, like, I am not applying a lot. Let me get my fringe out of the way here. And this is going to cover my dark circles really, really well. This actually, in terms of like the coverage, it kind of reminds me a lot of the Hourglass concealer in that way, because like less is more in this case. And what you're gonna see here is as I blend this in, and I like a tapping motion with this concealer, you're gonna see this immediately start to take away the dark circles underneath my eyes. This is definitely one of those concealers where like I much prefer to go in with a tiny amount and then build if needed. This is not one where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ham right away, just because it can get like too much very, very quickly because again, it's that full coverage concealer. And so you just want to be careful with that. I think just because my dark circles are like horrific today, the end of the week, so it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and apply just a little bit more right underneath my eyes to just give myself an opportunity to really get that to kind of cover some of the dark circles. By the way, hopefully you guys can see this. Do you see how dark this is on my hand now? Like, I'm gonna shine a light on it so you guys can see it. So yeah, definitely oxidation, right?
Oxidation.
Oxidation?
Yeah.
It's oxidizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Go ahead and look up here actually, just because I want to blend this in right underneath my eye. Making this stupid concealer face, but you know, it is what it is. So do you guys see how the concealer has definitely brightened? It's covered up my under eyes. And the other thing that I really like about this underneath my eyes is that it really smoothed out my skin. So I feel like this is a really beautiful under eye concealer. I also like it all over the face as well. This is one that I could wear on its own. I could wear this one on top of foundations. I can wear on top of skin tints, and everything looks really, really good. Obviously though, I do prefer applying it in really light layers and using that tapping motion instead of like trying to sweep it across your face. I have not set this down in terms of like using a powder or anything like that, and this is the part that I really want to talk about. So I'm going to ask for a massive zoom on my face. Hello. Do you see how this has literally set itself down? Like, this concealer is crazy. I'm always going to use a light setting powder underneath my eyes because I just have to. But this is one of those concealers where I'm like, it does not crease on its own. And I actually tested it out because I was like, no, there's no way. I know that it looks like it set itself down, but there's no way in hell that it has. Like, and there was a day where I was like, yeah, screw it. I won't use any powder today. This thing did not settle into fine lines, and it did not crease, and I was really confused. Admittedly, yes, I did use a setting spray, like, just to finish off my entire face after I did, like, my bronzer and blush and stuff like that, but I was really, really surprised that this concealer held up. Having said that, I am gonna go ahead and set it down just because that's how I wear my makeup, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a really, really light layer of setting powder versus doing a ton, and the reason for that is, again, because this is one that I consider kind of a self-setting concealer, I don't think you need all that much. If you put too much powder on this concealer, what I find ends up happening is it winds up kind of looking a little bit cakey, if I'm being honest. So this is one of those weird concealers where, like, less is more. It's very odd to me. Okay, I'm gonna finish the rest of my face and put on some bronzer and blush, and then we'll be right back. Okay, now that my face has dimension to it, thank goodness. All right, let's go ahead and talk about lasting power. So I did talk a little bit already about that when I was talking about the fact that, like, you don't necessarily need to set down this concealer and it will last all day long. I honestly have just been so impressed with the way that this thing sets on your face. I think that's one of the most impressive things about this concealer. I don't think I have any other concealers, and I'm like literally looking at my stash right now of concealers that I can feel comfortable being like, no, it kind of sets itself. Like, I just don't think, yeah, I don't really have any. Like, this is the only one that does that. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about as well, because they do call this out, is the fact that it is going to help smooth out your skin over time. I actually do feel like this is very much one of those concealers that has skincare built into it, and it's a really nicely done concealer. So, like, I've tried the Lancome concealer that has serum built into it. I've tried the Estee Lauder concealer that also has serum built into it. I had my issues with both, to be totally honest. The Estee Lauder wasn't a good combination because of the fact that, like, when you applied it, you could tell that there was serum in there. Like, they didn't do a good job of blending the color pigments and the serum together to make, like, a really cohesive concealer. The Lancome itself was then not long lasting at all. And so this one actually, to me, feels like a really good concealer that has serum built into it. Like, this is what all of those brands kind of should have been striving toward. Like, this is a really, really nice, again, a really nice skincare concealer if that's what you're looking for. The other thing that I wanted to say though is that from a touch-up perspective, I don't actually love this concealer, and I'll tell you guys why. I don't know if it's because, like, the setting sprays that I've been using recently have been very good about setting down my face and ensuring that the layer of translucent powder that I put onto my face stays on, and so therefore, like, my makeup isn't fading the way that it normally would. But I don't really love this concealer as a touch-up product, mostly just because I do think think that if you were to try to layer it on top of like any powder products that you might potentially have, it's that more thin formula that is a little bit more liquidy versus moussey. So like the House Labs concealer is a great touch-up product because it has more of that texture to it that kind of just feels like a little more whipped, and so it's easy to put on top of a powder. This is not that. This is a straight up liquidy concealer that is not going to go on top of powder really well. Now, if you are somebody where like you haven't set down your face with any powder and your makeup is sliding off because all you used was like liquid products or gel products, then yes, this concealer could be used as a touch-up product. But for me, and the way that I typically wear my makeup, because I always have a little bit of powder on my face, not the greatest at touch-up. So that pretty much wraps up this video in terms of how I feel about the Yensa concealer. This is definitely one that I would highly recommend to anybody who's watching this video. If you're looking for a concealer that's gonna be really easy because it's self-setting, you don't need all that much, and it is high coverage, like this is definitely a winner. The only thing I will say actually though, from a color perspective as well, it doesn't have that many shades, okay, on the website. Like I think there's only like 12 different shades in this one. So hopefully you can find one that works for your skin tone. If you are Asian, yeah, this is for you. So just FYI. So, all right, that pretty much wraps up this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and follow me over on Instagram. And I will see you guys in next time's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.